If you're looking for a quick and easy side dish or maybe a light lunch, I have the perfect recipe for you today. Today we're gonna make corn and basil fritters. This recipe was inspired by my friend Cassie of Cook It Real Good. These fritters are a perfect summer treat, and it starts with 2 cups of corn. Today I'm using a bag of frozen corn, but you could use leftover corn on the cob. If you're using the frozen corn, you just want to microwave it for a little bit to get the cold off. The fritters will cook better if the corn isn't icy cold. To that, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of diced onion. I'm using just a white onion today. You could also use like the green onions, and you can use the white and the green parts. It works great. Now, the key to this to make it taste like summer is fresh basil. I have some fresh basil here from my mother's garden because my garden basil didn't turn out so good. All I am gonna do is just slice this basil really thinly, and then I'm gonna add it to the batter. I want about 2 tablespoons of basil, which is actually less than this. This is about a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of basil in the batter. Then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of flour. I'm using my favorite flour, which is white whole wheat flour. You're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to give these fritters a little bit of lift and keep them from being super dense. Adding a 1/2 teaspoon of salt because salt makes everything taste better, and my favorite salt is coarse sea salt. I'm going to quickly stir this just to kind of get everything incorporated and evenly distributed before I add the wet ingredient, which is milk and an egg. So I have this all mixed, and now I'm going to scramble 1 egg, and I'm going to add that to 3/4 of a cup of milk. Now you can use pretty much any kind of milk. I'm using whole milk today, but I've done this with almond milk and it works really well. Once you have those 2 slightly mixed, you're going to pour this into the rest of the fritter ingredients, and you're just going to mix it up. This batter is going to be really thick. You don't want these fritters to spread too thin in the pan. I have a pan here that is really hot, and it has avocado oil in it. You want to get the pan really, really hot and then bring the heat down to about a medium-high heat. These are going to cook about 2 to 3 minutes per side. And you know that it's hot if you hear it sizzle when you put the batter in. This needs to be just a touch hotter. I'm using just a 1/3 cup measuring cup, and I'm putting these in. You're probably going to have to cook these in a couple of batches. Did you see how I kind of pressed it down to flatten it? Because this batter is super thick, it takes a little bit to press it down. These are going to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes per side, and you want to make sure that that oil is super hot, because if it is too cool, your fritters are going to turn out really, really greasy. I have some here that I've already made today. They are crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, and the fragrance of the basil just penetrates through. It is a perfect side dish or a perfect light lunch. You serve it with a salad and you can call it good. The full recipe is at feedyourfamilytonight.com. And if you have any questions about this recipe, please join me in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group. I'd love to answer your questions and have you join me there.